Hello everyone, my name is Byron Landano. I'm part of Group 3 and this is our presentation on Bitcoin and how it can be a beneficial cryptocurrency. A little bit about Bitcoin first. October 31st, 2008, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, was posted to a cryptography mailing list and outlined the foundation of how Bitcoin would operate. In August 18th, 2008, an unknown person or entity registered the bitcoin.org domain. Bitcoin is a new form of currency that is created and held digitally. In January 2009, the first version of Bitcoin is announced, and shortly thereafter, Bitcoin mining begins. Developed by an unknown person under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Some people believe this to be a group of people actually that were the creators of Bitcoin and not just one person. Bitcoin is decentralized and not owned by any particular government, and it uses cryptography and blockchain technology to secure financial transactions, control the creation of additional units, and verify the transfer of assets.
Bitcoin is a decentralized peer-to-peer network, and because it has no central authority, it doesn't really have a point of failure. There are 10,000 computers running as nodes. All these nodes would have to go offline for Bitcoin to stop working. Because it is not anonymous, every transaction is stored on a public ledger. This ledger can be tracked, and Bitcoin transactions can be viewed by everyone. As a deflationary currency, the coin supply is fixed, and the maximum amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist is 21 million. In December of 2017, Bitcoin reached an all-time high of $19,783.06 per coin. Since then, it has decreased in value, but will ultimately come back up.
So, what are some pros for Bitcoin? One pro is that it can be used for payments. Bitcoin is a borderless and global currency and allows anyone around the world to make payments without the use of an intermediary or financial institution. Another pro for Bitcoin is that it removes the need for financial institutions in e-commerce. This means that people do not have to give up their private information and risk identity theft from companies like Equifax, which had a data breach of millions of customers' private information just to purchase something online. Another pro for Bitcoin is that it offers merchants a cheaper and faster way of accepting payments. Credit card companies usually charge between 1 and 3% for every sale and require merchants wait 1 to 3 days before they get their money. If merchants use Bitcoin, they save money on fees and they get their money instantly. They also don't have to deal with fraud or chargebacks as all transactions on Bitcoin are final. If we sum up all of these pros, Bitcoin encourages international businesses and provides both the businesses and consumers with secure, low cost, and fast transactions. There are many more pros for Bitcoin. Bitcoin can also be used as a store of value. Bitcoin is deflationary, and under the law of supply and demand, correlate to an increase in value. Since the Bitcoin supply is capped at 21 million coins, the idea is that Bitcoin will maintain or increase in value as long as there is demand for it. This is the opposite of government-owned currency, which has an uncontrolled supply and is subject to inflation. The Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation a year, which means that an individual's purchasing power is lost by about 2% every year because of inflation. This forces the only form of saving through banks, bonds, or higher risk investments such as stocks. Another pro for Bitcoin is that it can be used as an alternative currency in unstable or corrupt governments like Venezuela, in which the local currency has experienced hyperinflation. Bitcoin can also be stored offline in cold storage, such as a hardware wallet or on paper. As the number one cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is also widely available for purchase on a number of exchanges worldwide.
Unlike USD, or the United States dollar, Bitcoin is not created out of thin air. It uses something called proof of work, also known as Bitcoin mining, to give validity to each coin. The cryptography and decentralized nature of the blockchain makes it secure and is not very susceptible to hacking. People who use Bitcoin also have a lot more control over their own currency. When you use US dollars in a bank, that money isn't necessarily all there. If you try to pull out $20,000 and everyone else at that bank tries to do the same at the same time, that money is not physically there. That's not true with Bitcoin. Whatever you have in your account is what you own. You can also trade very small fractions of Bitcoin, whereas the smallest denomination of a dollar would be a penny. You can actually trade many thousands of a fraction of a Bitcoin. And you can send it all over the world. You can avoid the high fees that you'll find at financial institutions like Western Union. In conclusion, Bitcoin has begun making its way into a lot of businesses because it's easy to track the transactions. They're on the public ledger. A lot of the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, Netflix, and Amazon, as well as Apple, have built an entire industry out of trusting digital technologies. The instant transactional nature of Bitcoin is so far ahead of the previous system that it's really changing business. And now, following the bubble of 2017, a lot of big money is trying to get into this space. Some of this big money includes household names like Goldman Sachs. Therefore, Team 3 finds Bitcoin to be ethical in that it is a legitimate currency. It can be used by individuals and institutions and has a future in society. Thank you.